Good morning, Power Boosters. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin. Another week without a check engine light is a good week. And it's also a good week because I just did another fill up. And unlike the last one that there was a snowstorm and I had to do a lot of idling where the engine was actually running to run the aircon controls at full bore, I lost some fuel economy. But I seem to have come back up a little bit from that. We're still in colder temperatures in the 30s and 40s here. And I'm seeing 20.5 hand calculated on this last tank. As usual, the trip computer read higher. They read 21.9. I don't think even with me doing the hand calculating that there would be that big of a disparity between the two. So I don't know exactly how all this is calculated and whatnot, but it would not appear to be accurate. So anyway, I'll take it. Anything above 20 is always going to be good in my book in a full-size pickup truck. If you're getting better than that, congratulations. I am not you. It would be nice if I was getting the estimated 23 combined, but that wasn't even happening in the summer. I would say that maybe I do some highway driving that's in the 70s, so that's probably where I'm losing some of the fuel economy. So maybe if I had a period of time where I didn't have to go on the thruway on a regular basis, which I do for work, then maybe I would see some different numbers. But either way, like I said, I'm happy overall with it. So as I mentioned, while I was in the midst of the snowstorm and having to wipe my car off my truck off a whole bunch of times during the storm, it made me think of one of the people who had been watching my channel and commenting since the beginning. Tris had wanted me to go over the systems of how everything works with the climate control, and I figured this would be a good opportunity to do that now that things have quieted down in terms of the snow and all that. So there's actually no snow right now whatsoever, which is great. Let's dive into how all this works. It's pretty simple, but there are a few things worth mentioning, I think, that might help some people out. It's obviously going to be very basic, and admittedly, if this is something that you're not interested in, you can go ahead and just skip this video and watch one of my other videos. They're linked in the description below. There's a bunch of playlists for the miles per gallon videos that I've done, and also the just all the videos in general on the Ford F-150 that you can watch. So let's turn the camera around here so we can take a look at a couple things here. A couple things to note on the screen here that you can always access. You can always access what the temperature is, outside temperature here, and also on the dash right there, or on the digital display, I should say. So that is something that is useful to have in two locations, because sometimes, either you or your passenger want to access that. You can easily access it from here. Your passenger can access it from there. Oh, another cool quirk that I didn't even realize that this truck has, speaking of passengers, is this little notch here. I'm sure a lot of you know that it's there, but it basically allows someone to route a cable through there. And let's say if you're using this area and you're using all the chargers or the wireless charger, and there's nothing left over for your passenger, they can at least plug in a cable with some of the plugins in there and charge their phone and rest it here or here, wherever makes sense. Anyway, that was a side detour. Getting back into the climate control systems. So when you're actually using this and you want to use climate control, the older trucks had like a digital display here of what the temperature that you set the auto climate control to be. That is obviously no longer here. I think there was chip issues, and they just deleted this out of here and here just to save extra chips and use them in different applications. But that now exists here and here. So if you split and you don't do the synced, one temperature for the entire truck, and your passenger wants to set a different temperature, then this number will obviously be different than that number. like I said, this is going to be pretty common sense review here. So this button here turns on and off the climate control system. So that's on. And as you can see, you have, this is an F150 Lariat. This is the base 2022, which will not have the heated steering wheel, which there would be a button right here for this heating steering wheel if I had one. If you had the higher packages of the Lariat, then you will get the heated steering wheel, but I did not get that. Also, I'll show you in the back, in one of the videos I took of the back where the vents are back there, there would also be heated back rear seats. There would be heated rear seats for the passengers back there if you had a higher trim Lariat and above. But I don't have that in this truck. In the 2023 vintage, you cannot get the base Lariat. You have to get, I think, at least the 501A. I don't think they do the 500A as a package anymore. So I did that. In the 2022 order that I did that and added on a bunch of extras like Co-Pilot 360 Assist, Pro Trailer Backup, which include the 360 cameras, and gave me front and rear parking sensors, rain sensing wipers, and all that stuff. So I have a base Lariat with a couple of hacks that you can no longer do on the 2023 trucks. So that turns on and off the climate control system. And then you have the ability to go auto. And what's cool about the F-150 here is you have 3 stages of auto, which basically just indicate how intense are the fans going to be. And as you can see, as you press this, it changes. You can see what you're doing in the screen as well too, which is nice. But you have the lights that we'll show you as well too. I like number 2 here because the fans don't go on too much, but they don't go on too little. But it still uses auto. It'll still rely on you turning this up or down. And you can see the number changing up here and in here. It relies on your input as to what you want the temperature of the cabin to be. And this will be kind of a medium fan speed. Now you can always override the auto and just go up or down with the fan speed here manually if you want to just set that yourself. Some people like to do that. And then also you can actually go up here and click this button and you can direct the air distribution, whether you want it to be on the windshield on the inside, the fans that blow air up there, or let me bring that back up, or this one here would be these ones right here. And then obviously you have vents in the footwells here. And then also in the video that I'll show from the back there, you can also see underneath the front seats facing into the rear wheel wells, just below the ambient lights there, that blue ambient light, you'll see the little air jet that blows a little bit of the air conditioned or heated air back into that part of the cabin through that part of the vent there. And then obviously they have the vents that are up, that they can control the direction of and whatnot. So like the back, these vents have the ability to completely close or open. I don't know if you can see that, but there used to be, I think maybe just in these ones over here, there used to be a dial on the bottom here in the Job 1 trucks from 2022, but they changed that with the Order 2 trucks, or Job 2 or whatever the hell they call it, where the only way you can close it is by just doing that and closing it, which is fine. I don't have a problem with them taking away that dial, because this essentially does the same thing. That's nothing to me. So obviously, once you've pressed this, you can, say I want it all on the here, and I want the fan speed to be on full bore. If you want to, whatever, the sky's the limit. I like to keep it on auto though. I think it does a good job in this truck of not like blasting you too much. And the heated seats are very, very warm and very comfortable on this. The cooled seats, I've never had cool seats in any other vehicle I've had before. I didn't know that it was something that I would like, but I do like it. It's not like a miracle fix by any means. It definitely doesn't completely cool your butt down, but it's way better than not having them, especially when it gets hot. But obviously it's cold now, and I've been using this a little bit, and it's really nice. I would like to have a heated steering wheel. I've had those in other vehicles, and they've been really nice, but it's not something that I absolutely have to have one of the only things I'd say that I absolutely have to have would be the safety technology of the adaptive cruise and the lane centering. That's something that I've become so used to that if I don't have, it's an annoyance. And also kind of the auto hold feature too, where you're at a stoplight. That's another thing that I think I would get tripped up if I didn't have. Anyway, this is supposed to be a video about the climate control system, and we'll get back to that here. So you can see you have the option for the max defrost. So if it's really, really cold outside, or it's really, really hot outside and your windows are fogging up and you want to clear the fog off the windshield and the side windows, you hit that. It turns on the rear defroster, which will defrost the back windows there, and it makes this fan up here go on really high. So I'll turn that off. Then you have the AC button. So if you want to make sure that the AC is going on, even if the auto system says it shouldn't be on, you can hit it on if you want to. And then of course max AC, so if it's really hot in here and you want to try and cool the cabin down as quickly as possible, that turns the fans on automatically. So that puts them on high blast automatically, whereas if you put on the max defrost, that will probably take a little bit longer for the fans to get going, because it's not going to really, it's going to wait for the engine to be, the engine is pretty warm right now, but it's going to wait for the engine to warm up a little bit before it really starts to make those fans go. Another feature that I read was cool about this is apparently when a phone call is coming in, if you have the fans on really high, it's supposed to kind of turn the fans down a little bit so that you can actually hear the conversation. That's something I read on the Ford website, and I haven't had the chance to test, so don't quote me if it's on all the F-150s or not, but I think it is on most Fords. So you can see obviously the passenger has the heated and cooled seats as well too. And then here's the dual button. So if your passenger wants to control their own temperature over here, it will actually automatically turn the light on when they go to switch their own temperature, and know that you want to be in dual mode and not synced up to where this dial will control all of the temperatures for the entire cabin. So as you can see right now, I have this set to 69 and that's set to 73. If someone here wants it to be a little bit warmer, they can do that. But I usually like to keep it in the dual mode, because for the most part, I'm usually the only one in the truck. And even when my wife's in here, she usually likes it at the same temperature as I do. So let's see if there's anything else that I can add to it. So the video I showed you of the back there obviously shows you that there's a couple of vents. There's one vent under here. There's one vent under my feet. There's the blowers up here, and then the blowers you see here, and here, and then the ones in the back, right there. The ones in the back there. So it's a pretty good system. I would say that, if you're cold when you first get into the truck, it heats up pretty quickly. I've had other vehicles that I think have taken longer to heat up than this truck has. So I think, it's definitely one of the better climate control systems. So for example, if you have the F-150 Lightning, I know some people who have the higher trim Lightnings don't like the fact that there's the big long display here, and most of these controls are relegated to being in the screen, and that can be a challenge for some people. I've had some vehicles that have had the climate controls in the actual screen. I had a Volvo XC60 that had all the climate controls in there. And I'm a person that honestly, I like the use of these actual physical buttons and dials, but I can also get used to a system completely on the screen. I didn't have a problem with it in the Volvo. If I had the F-150 Lightning with the larger screen, I think I'd be okay with that too. I mean, I know some people are really adamant about having stuff like this, and they think it's easier and there's less distraction, but I think it just, this system takes a little bit more. You got to kind of get used to where everything is a little bit more so. And admittedly, on the XC60, I'm going to go back to me here. On the XC60, and maybe even on this truck, I haven't tested it yet. I bet you could probably do it where, let's do it right now actually. Set temperature to 75 degrees.
Setting temperature to 75 degrees.
Yeah. So you can set the temperature with voice commands. So the argument to the fact that like, oh, it's distracting to have to change this on a screen, and I have to kind of look at everything to do it, whereas if I can just reach down and touch a physical control, that's less distracting. Well, what's even less distracting is if you press a button on your steering wheel and just say what temperature you want the cabin to be. So I don't know. I more or less, I don't have a problem with the fact that you know, screens are controlling these days a lot of the temperature controls. But obviously that's not the case here in the F150, and if that's what you like, then you have no issues there. So that's pretty much it, I think, for the... Oh, there's one other thing I wanted to show you in the screen here. So in the settings, you can remote start this vehicle. So you can actually set up the vehicle to allow it to remote start or not, which you can do from your Ford app. But you can allow the truck to, upon startup, to auto set the climate control and auto set the heated seats, heated or cooled seats, I should say. So, for example, if it's 37 degrees outside and I start my truck in the morning, it's going to activate the auto climate and the heated seats to warm up. Whereas if this said, you know, the temperature was 87 degrees, then it would turn the air conditioning on and the cooled seats on. And then this, of course, is the duration of how long you don't have a choice to go beyond 15 minutes, and you can only do 2 consecutive remote starts at 15 minutes. It won't let you do it unless you come into the truck with the key, which is a good gas and energy and carbon emission saving feature. So I did not want to change that there. So that's pretty much it. I think it's a pretty easy system to use. Tris, hopefully this was useful to you and how this whole thing operates. Obviously, one of the things I had forgotten was this button here circulates the air in the cabin only. So especially in the summer months when the air conditioning is going, after you get it going for a couple minutes, if you turn that on, it not only keeps air from outside of the cabin. Let's say you've got a truck with blowing a bunch of you know, black smoke out of it in front of you. You don't want to necessarily have that come into the cabin. That kind of blocks off a little bit of that, and then also makes your air conditioning a little bit more efficient because it's not cooling down the warm air constantly that's coming into the truck. It's just cooling the air in the truck and recycling it and keeping that air cool, which is a little bit more efficient. So that's all I've got for you this week. Please like and subscribe to the video. I'm not going to make 1,000 subscribers before the end of this year, but that doesn't matter at this point. What matters is that you guys enjoy my videos, and if there's anything I can be doing to make the videos any better, please put that down in the comments. But otherwise, having said that, I will see you guys in the next video. Kevin!